Good evening and welcome back to PreciseAlgorithmTrading.com. It is Wednesday, April 19th, 2023. And let's see what happened today in the markets. So the S&P down here, sideways, which on a candle chart doesn't really look sideways. It closed minus 0.35, so that's interesting. I mean, pretty much where it yesterday closed, so we actually pulled way down here and pulled way back up. So we started lower and came up higher, so that's something to think about. The Dow, we have a sell signal on the weekly True Momo indicator. Nothing on the daily, so that's really technically fine. The Russell, even though it's zeroed out here, pretty much the same as, I mean, it opened or closed actually higher than it opened today, so that was a gain of a little bit. Although we got a sell signal on the daily and a sell signal on the weekly, so I believe my TNA position, which is based on the Russell, it's a ETF to trade it. Yeah, this is worthy of putting a stop, probably either under 414 or just, if you want to play it longer than that, back here to the lower pivot on 324. But that is technically a sell when you get both things lined up. That's actually what the profit is based on in the strategy that's posting the statistics up here above. Now, you know, you can, that's if you just sell it tomorrow, that's what the strategy is based on. But if you play these nuances and you can get better fills and things like that, you can actually do better than all that. And that's only based on the daily chart, not the daily with the weekly together. So all right, well, that's that. So then the NASDAQ posted a little bit of a gain, but not really anything to write home about. So again, we've been, I mean, really what the NASDAQ, this is a sort of a classic pattern. I don't even know what they call it. It's almost sort of a dish pattern or a cup and handle. You can kind of see that. There's a really, when it's really shallow and does the same thing, I've heard that called a fry pan. So anyways, I think this is really a cup and handle. You can kind of see it. Doesn't mean it's going to play out that way, but if it does, a classic cup and handle will go from the low of the cup, which is down here at 10,957, and you draw a line up to the middle, and then you can extend that all the way up, and I'm not going to do it, but you can see that would be one heck of a gain. Probably close to these target dots up here, which it's funny how the market, or how the math works out, because these target dots are based on standard deviations away from where you got in, or something to that effect, average true ranges or something, one of those types of things. And it's just funny how the market does move to those in a lot of times, and not all the time, but a lot of the times. Oil, what did oil do today? It was down 2%. So the play I was trying to make went against me for a couple days, and then I got out. Would have been playing out fine, and we pulled back to this first moving average. We could pull back to this weekly moving average as well, which is pretty close to the second moving average. I would expect this is about all we're going to get to the downside in that, if I was still in that position, which I'm not. But however, we do have a sell signal on the weekly. That's notable. So maybe this is, we'll see. This could be, I mean, we got a higher high here that broke out from these highs back here back in January, and that's significant if you ask me. But if this sell signal actually plays out on the weekly, and we've only got 2 days left for it to play out, we're going to get a sell signal on the daily and the weekly, and then really all bets are off, especially to the upside. Let's look at bonds, because I got out of bonds the other day because I had sell signals on both time frames. But I do want to keep an eye on it, and right now there's nothing to do. Sit on your hands. All right. We'll flip over to stockcharts.com and we'll look at the internals. Oh, before we do that, let's go back here and look at Tesla, because that's apparently they had earnings tonight, and it's probably falling, but something we can do is turn on 15 minutes, and you have to have your settings set so it shows overnight action, and it has to cooperate from a technology standpoint. I'm only going to give it another second or two before I just say we're not going to do that. All right, so how do you turn on make sure the equities show extended hours, highlight the extended hours and say okay. And it's fallen overnight. So I was a little afraid of that. It's going from 182 to 169. That's a pretty tough fall off. We'll see if it sticks through the morning, because anything's possible. That's probably going to hit these lower targets. And we are on a sell signal on the daily, but not on the weekly. So we'll see if that translates into a sell signal on the weekly as well. And see what happens. I wanted to just be able to show that you can see that stuff at night, especially when it's earnings night. You kind of want to see what the position's doing. All right, now I'll flip over to stockcharts.com, and we will put in bullish, and that should open up all the bullish percent indexes. And I'm going to hit the highlights. Let's look at the industrials. They went up by and tacked on an X today. That's significant. Not major because it's only 30 stocks, but it's the ones in the Dow. So the NYA went up by 0.86, so that's interestingly bullish in a relatively bearish looking day. I mean sideways, but a lot of actual stock positions, or at least the ones that I've been tracking, are down today. The NASDAQ is up by 0.22%. It's still the one that needs to catch a little fire before it can add a column of X's. If it adds a column of X's, and I'm expecting some more bullish action in at least the short term. The S&P tacked on an X and went up by 0.65% today, so it's still acting more bullish than bearish. And the NASDAQ 100 went down by 1.59%, so it's a little bit different than the rest of them. And then the NASDAQ, or the S&P 100, where are you? There you are. The OEX up by 2.9% today. So that's what those are doing. And then we'll flip over to our automatic trading system. We'll start with the Dow, and it's still down today, and it's been really a lot of back and forth for the quarter, more down than up probably at this point. It'd be nice if it could take off and close the quarter more strong, and we'll see. This is still what it looks like on a 6-month basis, which is okay. It's not great, but it's fine. The Russell, really, we're looking at this giant pullback here yesterday, and it looks like we got a decent trade today, maybe a little bit more south before it went north, but that's okay. Be nice if we could get more of that and get back and fill in this gap that's gone on here for a while. It was looking pretty good when it was back here, This is what it looks like on a 6-month basis, so not the end of the world, just not great. And then my favorite one still, the NASDAQ, that put in a new high equity peak yesterday. Or was it the day before? That was yesterday, before it fell off. And now we've come back quite a bit today. So, and this is what it looks like on the 6-month basis, which is the best looking of my equity curves, really by far at this point. But, you know, as long as they all do their job eventually, that's all that matters. So I'll leave you with that. Take care, guys. Have a great night and good trading tomorrow. Good luck.